To illustrate a collaborative ESD planning process, I'm working with the SST, the Sustainability Starts with Teachers UNESCO program that my colleagues at the Environmental Learning Research Center developed around the question of how do we design an ESD program together. The key word there being together. We're working with the learners, we're still planning a subject-based ESD program, and the teacher is teaching the subject, but the ESD program is a process of happening together. And in the SST program, the first thing is the context to review the subject content and the competencies specified in the curriculum, and then to look at the inclusion of an ethic of care and co-defining the local matters of concern using the Sustainable Development Goals, and also, working with the local area, what is relevant there. So then you get to the startup and start looking for materials, authentic stories to share, and there's an e-learning library that the SST provides. And there are many, many topics from Lorette approaches through to particular curriculum topics that can be picked up. But then one gets to the mapping out of the competencies and the planning of learning together as the key process. And here, working with the 4-quadrant program framework, and also with the continuous assessment of significant learning, the tools are there for us as teachers. And what I do is I take the 4-quadrant program and just sketch it out if I'm having a cup of tea in a staff room, or if I'm just sitting and waiting and I think I want to teach a particular program, then these 4 quadrants allow me to have the startup. What knowledge does the curriculum specify that we need? What heritage could be included? And what are the leading questions that might be important? And a key little trick that really sparks the students and teachers being able to work together is to ask the question that Hela Lotsasitka often reminds us of knowing what we don't yet know. So do we know what we don't yet know, so that can guide our thinking and our learning together as we work from pictures and stories that are relevant, and what is known and what can be read about allows the framing of the knowledge component of the curriculum. And then the practice component, the finding out. We might even start with an activity here and move back to the knowledge, but these sort of inquiry and activities can be then specified. Why do we do things in particular ways? And then onto the exploring of how to work out and apply the knowledge that's been found out, and looking at local planning and action together. This is where writing support, reporting, debating, and planning forward comes in to enable understanding, synthesis, and deliberative design of possible alternatives, and then trying out ideas and assessing the ideas in the field, planning local learning actions together to undertake change challenges and assessing these change challenges. So here's where the assessment comes in, assessing of prior knowledge and competences, often specified in the curriculum as the best place to start, but broadened as we start working with the students and recognizing their prior knowledge. What is known and can be remembered is an expansion of this, and from the teaching of the topic. What can be understood and explained after the teaching of the topic. This is part of the sort of continuous process of assessment, and I often put in percentages so that I can then say, if I'm going to end up with a summative test or a summative activity, I can assign marks against the knowledge component and against the process. And then what can be applied, the analysis, synthesis, evaluation, and innovation work. And here the percentages are often those specified in the curriculum, including inviting accounts of significant learning and insights and innovations that the students have experienced while they're undertaking their handprint work. And then finally, assessing sort of significant process of application and evaluation. So this is a simple way that I use, and you'll clearly have your own ways of doing it. And the key to me is having a plan, but the plan being flexible because I need to be guided by the learners in this ESD work. The learner ideas that can be built on so that we're able to transition quite early on from the subject content specified in the curriculum into the learner-led work. And that is the crucial transition, which is necessary for the handprint care approach. So all of the best in your planning. I hope there are some useful tips and ideas that have come up. And I enjoyed putting this together. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I have.